Elliot Wolf. Is he the big dog now, Greg?
It feels that way. I think the process needs to play out a bit more. Like, we'll have to see what happens. I mean, I don't rule out additional hires, but I think the overarching thing is, and what NFL people around the league are wondering is exactly how much are the Crafts going to pay, and is that part of the equation and all that? I mean, people think they're not opening up the checkbook for the staff, for the front office to do different things, or expanding certain aspects of the franchise. And is Elliot Wolf going to be expensive? Probably not. But Elliot could get into a power play where he says, I want X, Y, and Z. We'll have to see. I think the Crafts are just going along with everybody in their duties and at their pay level, and at the end of the day, they'll sort of hash that out. But I'm not ready to say just because it's Packers. There's a lot of Packers people coming in. I don't think that means anything. I think it's an easy thing to say. It's a lazy narrative that it's like, oh well, Elliot Wolf is doing everything. He's in charge. He's the big dog. He's driving the bus. Like, Pat Stewart has impact. He worked with Ben McAdoo in Carolina. There are other people in the organization. They have consultants and things like that. So just with everything, everybody just overrates and it quickly overreacts to everything. We'll have to see how this plays out. But there's little doubt that it looks like Elliot Wolf right now is in charge, and he should. He has more experience than anybody in the front office outside of Patrick Stewart. Matt Groh doesn't, and I think it looks like Matt Groh is more director of college scouting, that sort of thing, and then Wolf is sort of pro personnel / overseeing everything, and maybe Patrick Stewart becomes director of pro personnel, that sort of thing.
New customers join today and you get $200 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/Boston to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/Boston. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
I don't know if he'll end up being the guy, but I think he is the guy right now. I think Elliot Wolf is the guy. I think he is running the ship, driving the bus, whatever you want to call it. You can call me lazy, Greg. That's fine. He was back here in New England with Gerard Mayo during coaching interviews. Pat Stewart, Matt Groh, those guys, Cam Williams. Cam Williams and Matt Groh were down in Mobile, Alabama during the Senior Bowl. Was Pat Stewart down there in Alabama, or was he back up here?
Pat Stewart was down there. The only one who wasn't was Elliot Wolf.
So that tells me that Gerard Mayo's got the closer relationship with Wolf. And Wolf and Mayo were together picking this offensive staff and doing these interviews. So that's what that would tell me. I think you're going to lean towards the guy who Mayo trusts because Mayo's the head coach now. And as soon as you picked Mayo, before you picked the GM, which is why both Greg and I wanted the GM first, you gave Mayo some power. Inherently, you gave him power because now you have to make sure that whoever works as the guy in that front office is married to Mayo. The philosophy is similar. Their vision of the team is similar. They can work together. They trust each other. It's a solid relationship. So I think the fact that, Wolf was here with Mayo and conducting these interviews and that these guys do have a past with Wolf, I think that says he is the guy right now. I also don't care about title. I care about who's calling the shots. Everybody's hung up on, are they going to name a GM? And why don't the Patriots like naming GM? I don't care if you call them the general manager. I don't care if you call him the McMuffin. I couldn't care less. What is important is who's calling the shots, who's leading the front office, whatever that title is. You can use chief football officer, like the Red Sox do chief baseball. That doesn't matter. What matters is who's taking the accountability and who has the responsibility of making the final call. I don't care about the title. Speaking of Wolf, Greg, Jeff Howe had a story in The Athletic over the weekend, and it said that the Patriots, if Wolf is the guy, they would look long and hard at drafting a tackle in the first round. Reaction.
Did he say why he said that? I don't think he did. I think he just.
I don't think I think he just put they'll look long and hard.
Yeah, I don't really understand that. I mean, Elliot doesn't have, much of a track record on that. I mean, I'm just trying to think back to Cleveland. I mean, yes, they built up the offensive line, but John Dorsey, look, Wolf's never been in charge of anything. And when I covered him in Green Bay, Eliot Wolf was known as, he was one of these guys who would go out. Ted Thompson didn't really mingle a lot in the league. He sort of like was just in his office or at his apartment, and he just liked to scout and sort of keep to himself. So really, like, Eliot Wolf and Alonzo Highsmith, along with John Dorsey, was sort of Ted Thompson's window to the NFL. These are the guys that built up contacts who knew people around the league. And these guys, and especially Eliot Wolf, would, whether it was the trade deadline, training camp, the draft, Elliot would go nuts trying to find trades and other scenarios, maybe free agent signings that would improve the Packers. And at the end of the day, Ted wouldn't do any of that stuff. Like, these guys were like beating their heads up against the wall, trying to create all this stuff and help make the Packers better. And Ted, at the end of the day, wouldn't sign any free agents, didn't trade any draft picks, or at least he never traded up. And then he just draft guys, and that's the way he built the Packers. And so, I mean, I've known Eliot Wolf for years, and I couldn't tell you what he believes about any of that stuff. And it's February. So, and who knows what's going to happen? Who knows? I think people are going to fall in love. I think there are going to be definitely teams, and this is from talking to people in Mobile. There are going to be teams, there's going to be a few teams that think they are a Marvin Harrison Jr. away at wide receiver from being put over the top. And those teams are going to look to get up to Marvin Harrison. You think 3 would be a sweet spot. It could even be 2. And I also think that there are going to be, from what we saw at the Senior Bowl, I didn't love Penix or Bo Nix at the Senior Bowl. Penix was a little bit better, but those guys to me are now dropping to definitely the bottom of the first round, if not the second round. And it's the 3 upper quarterbacks, and that's it. So when you see the divide start to open up, now all of a sudden teams are like, well, if I need a quarterback, like if I'm the Falcons or the Vikings or the Raiders or, whoever, if I want a quarterback and I think one of these guys, one of the top 3 is special, then I got to trade up. And so there's so much time. Pro days, combine, basically nobody knows jack about what anybody's going to do, especially the Patriots, especially Eliot Wolf, who has no track record, and we don't even know if he's going to have final say. So I just think what somebody's going to do with the 3rd overall pick in February, early February, even before the Super Bowl, to me is just, conjecture and, way too early for this stuff.